Oh boy, he was listening to people talk about the Leafs that weren't him, so I think he's pissed off.
Dude, I can't even wear this jersey. I can't.
Well, I can't be the only one who wears the Leafs jersey. What jersey are you gonna wear then?
I'm gonna wear this one. It's an autographed Felix Potvin jersey from back in the day when they didn't let me down season after season.
Well, fine. Then I'm not gonna wear this jersey anymore, and I'm gonna wear your Doug Gilmour jersey from when you were 5.
Woo!
Are you just gonna get hammered? Get me a toaster. Magic Angel Robot from Winnipeg!
What the hell are you talking about?
This team is ruining my life! Yep, still fits. I do Pilates.
Well, at least the wait's over. Leafs lose 3-0 to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and in doing so are eliminated from the 2014 Stanley Cup playoffs. I thought we were past this! This is my 7th year doing these videos. 7! Last video was the 1000th that I've posted on YouTube. Well over half of those were LFR videos like this one. A lot of those videos were losses. And this is now the 6th time where I've talked about the Leafs being eliminated from playoff contention. And I've been willing to admit, as a James Reimer fan, when he's had off games, you can't hang this one on Reimer. Best case scenario, he gets a shutout and this game goes to the shootout. You can't win games unless you score goals. You can't score goals unless you take shots. Corsi is shot attempts. The arm bone's connected to the shoulder bone. But obviously advanced stats don't tell you everything. Don't tune out right now. Tell you what, that's the last time I'll mention analytics in this video, I promise. I look at Tampa and I wonder what the Leafs could be. I listened to the TSN radio post-game show, and I only pick on them because they happen to be the one that was on. I listened to the things they were discussing on the panel, and particularly the call-in portion. Let's go through them piece by piece. Well, actually, let's go through what I remember because I blacked out from rage a few times. I think it was Jeff O'Neill going, well, Randy Carlyle's an old school guy. Genghis Khan was an old school guy! Advancement! Evolution! Since humanity crawled out of the muck, they do a thing, figure out how to do it better, and then do that thing. He won a Stanley Cup. You cannot take away from him that he won a Stanley Cup. He's got the ring, that's the receipt, he's a Stanley Cup champion. But the Leafs defense is the Leafs defense. The Anaheim Ducks he won with had Chris Pronger, Scott Niedermayer, and Francois Beauchemin as the third guy. Not to mention Ilya Bryzgalov when he was good, and J.S. Chigara when he was great. Combined with a veteran like Teemu Solani and Ryan Getzlaf, who they freaking drafted, and Corey Perry, who they freaking drafted, the Ducks were a great team. The who they freaking drafted part brings me to the next thing. I think it was Jeff O'Neill was talking about why can't the Leafs draft a star? All the good guys they have come from out of the organization. But then he said, why do players leave the Leafs and then become good? Francois Beauchemin, how did he turn it on after he left Toronto? And then he said Alex Steen. And just as I was ready to yell about Francois Beauchemin, well, the goalie behind him couldn't stop Alex Steen. What? Replace Alex Steen with Nazem Kadri and you have what's about to happen this summer. He's 23! Give it a sec! Caller after caller after caller called in. Kadri's a lazy player. Kadri's this, Kadri's that. You just think Kadri's a young punk. You don't like his attitude. You don't like his demeanor. I like the 50 points he scored in a second line role as a 23-year-old. I want to tear my eyes out and shove other people's in there to see why Kadri sucks or why he's the problem. I don't. He's not perfect. Nah. If the Leafs think they have a guy in Peter Holland who can replace Kadri and they think they can get something for Kadri, okay, I'll go with that. I'll go with it. I don't like it, but I'll go with it. If they replace him with Dave Bolland, I'm going to flip. Speaking of Bolland, another thing that was mentioned, well, the Leafs pushed the Bruins to 7 games. By the way, I wish that never happened. I wish the Bruins eliminated the Leafs in 5. 1, because I wouldn't have had that Game 7 disappointment. And 2, they pushed them. They pushed the big bad Bruins to the brink. And that made everyone think, ooh, but that close. So what they said is the Leafs added David Clarkson and added Dave Bolland. Correct. After subtracting Mikhail Grabowski and subtracting Clark MacArthur. This bone's connected to this bone. What is so hard about this? They made addition. No, they didn't. It's a cap. There's a salary cap. It's 2014. This isn't news. Before they could add, they had to subtract. And did anyone else notice the minor dagger? I thought maybe I'm reading too much into it. The minor dagger that Carlisle threw at the end of his presser. He said, well, we haven't been able to look to the Marlies that much because of salary cap restrictions. And I wanted to just be like, Randy, your systems suck and that's why they suck. But Genghis has a point. The Leafs had cap trouble all year. All year. That's like a super avoidable problem.
Here's your number. Don't go over it. Okay. Oops.
Get quizzed! One defense of Randy Carlisle that I've heard this week, and it is a fair defense. He said that the Leafs need to stop getting outshot. He said this early in the season. So when I listen to management speak, I'm not convinced they know what the problem is. But I hear Randy Carlyle say something like that, and he said it a long time ago. I go, this guy sees where the problem is. And as the coach, he was not able to fix it. It's one thing to point at a guy and go, his hair is on fire. But if you can't fix it, I need to get someone who can. Preferably a reputable fireman or a guy with a hat. So there's nothing wrong with a gritty, powerful, strong, rough, passionate team. Oh, you hit your opponent to hurt them. You don't want it to tickle. But you hit your opponent to separate them from the puck, to make them hesitant to go towards the puck, and eventually, not really want the puck. It's all about this chunk of rubber right here. So we can talk about passion and leadership and all those lovely words, but it's about that. And it was yelled and screamed about all this year. It was yelled and screamed about all last year. The Leafs don't have this little guy enough. And they got rid of two of their guys, Clark MacArthur and Mikhail Grabovski, who, whether they scored or didn't, had this little guy more than others. The Boston Bruins are not a good team because they fight. They're a good team because they have really good players who will fight and kick your ass after scoring a goal. If fighting was banned, you get thrown out of the league for even one fight, tomorrow the Bruins would still be a good team. Would Lucic forget how to be a jerk in front of the net? Would Chara forget how to take a booming slap shot? Would Patrice Bergeron stop being one of the best two-way centers in the whole league? Would David Krejci lose all his skill? Would Brad Marchand be less of a pest? On and on and on and on and on. The old school mentality doesn't cut it anymore. Parts of it are good, but there's new stuff that's better. I've seen the bones. Dinosaurs look pretty badass, but they went extinct. And hopefully this collapse and missed playoff spot can be the meteor. So where does that leave these videos? Obviously, I'm going to do post-game videos for the final 2 games of the Leaf season, and I'm going to be doing playoff videos all throughout the playoffs. I don't care what team it is. St. Louis Blues, the Detroit Red Wings, the Columbus Blue Jackets apparently, LA Kings, everybody. I'm going to be doing videos almost every day. So if you got friends that you think will like them, they're a fan of whatever team, reluctantly the Habs, whoever, send them these videos. I don't even care if it's just because they take pleasure in my pain. I'm a Leaf fan, I'm used to it. So click like if you liked this video, click subscribe if you really liked it, send it to your friends, and this Thursday's podcast should be a pretty interesting one.